It often comes as a surprise, as a sudden surprise to the average student of the esoteric sciences, and even more so to the general public, that there are conscious magicians at work in every walk of life. Heads of countries, politicians, religious leaders, economic experts, business professionals, sociologists, artists, poets, authors, public lecturers, teachers, nurses, philanthropists, soldiers, and so on have here and there gradually disclosed their deep interest and often great facility in magic. The recent presiding ministers of two countries in the world today disclosed the fact of their deep interest in the secrets of universal law. Hitler is a prime example of a black magician. He was able to utilize negatively the powerful energy of the first ray to bring about a swath of destruction and horror across the face of the earth. The negative use of the other six rays were fully represented by Goebbels, Goering, and other powerful henchmen around him. Think about it. Using great magical powers, the two relatively small countries of Germany and Japan almost succeeded in dominating all the countries on earth. Had they succeeded, humanity would have been thrown back into the dark ages again, and it would have been even darker ages. Materialism would have prevailed over the affairs of earth for many centuries. It was only through the aid of the White Brotherhood that the scientists of the Allies at last managed to bring through the needed formulation for the atomic bomb, which thereby swiftly ended this debacle on Earth. A highly clairvoyant woman working with Dr. Karagula presided over a large business firm in our country. Swami Rama long ago renounced his position as a revered religious leader in his own country to come to the Western world and to demonstrate for our scientists that man is a spiritual being with very great untapped mind powers. The experiments with Swami Rama at the Carl Menninger Foundation in Topeka, Kansas, was not only designed to see if paranormal faculties could be clearly demonstrated successfully under strict scientific controls, but also to discover if these unusual powers were latent within all other human beings and could be a taught or learned process. The experiments were confirmed both ways. Under very strict supervision, Swami Rama showed that he could easily move objects through thought. More importantly, however, was that he also taught Dr. Elmer Green, a staff member at the Menninger Foundation, how to move objects through his mind power under carefully supervised laboratory conditions. Thus, Swami Rama succeeded in adding a key member of the scientific community on Earth to the team of world servers, who are building visible bridges between the seen and unseen worlds of existence. Uri Geller stepped into the limelight, proving under laboratory conditions at Stanford University that he could affect 3D objects through psychokinesis, mind over matter. The book Uri by Andrija Puharic tells of many wondrous magical activities precipitated by Uri Geller. Any serious student of magic should read it, for the source of the magic comes as quite a surprise. Both Uri and the author assert that their psychic power comes beamed in directly from extraterrestrial space beings, as did Nikolai Tesla. Uri Geller recently appeared as a judge on the television show Phenomenon. Another of my close friends and a conscious white magician is the astounding Jack Schwartz from Selma, Oregon. Jack was one of the pioneers in proving under very strict laboratory conditions at the Menninger Foundation and in other clinics across the country that he can wound himself and heal himself. He can stop the flow of blood at will, and he feels no pain when he does this. I have personally seen and helped Jack perform a spectacular and very real miracle during a performance he gave in Los Angeles many years ago. Jack is certainly one of the top teachers and world servers embodied upon earth today. Olga Worrell demonstrated under laboratory conditions that she could send healing energies through a cloud chamber. No one else can place their hand on the chamber and get that effect. Not only did she do this on the spot, but definitely could mentally affect the cloud chamber from a distance. My lovely dear friend and former coworker, Bernadine Villanova from Tampa, Florida, was healed of a serious and lifelong heart ailment by Dr. Norbu Chen. Dr. Chen performed this magical instant healing in June 1974 in an auditorium at the Dallas Convention Center that seats over 5,000 people as a huge, astounded crowd watched in amazement. That very miracle was observed by me from a front row seat and was confirmed on the spot by 2 attending local Dallas doctors. Then there's Dr. Roberto Asagaoli, a leading psychologist in Italy in the early 1900s, developed the theories of psychosynthesis as early as 1910 and was a serious student of the mysteries for several decades. He is the founder of the Psychosynthesis Foundations, an international group where all the doctors treat their patients from a spiritual as well as from a material point of view. They have discovered that it is far better to heal the mind and soul, for this brings about real permanent cures, while physical cures are mostly remedial, for they do not touch the cause. As an interesting sidelight, Dr. Asagaoli was also a consciously dedicated world server disciple of the master Zhuo Ku, as I certainly have been. Zhuo Ku. Many masters, magicians, and initiates seem so ordinary that they go unrecognized by those around them. This, of course, turns out to be a great blessing. If the astounding business person who read the 3 energy mechanisms of man for Dr. Karagula had been publicly known for her talents in this field, she would have been swamped by curiosity seekers and fellow workers constantly wanting proof of her ability. She proved it for herself as well as for Dr. Karagula and patients, so she did not need to prove it repeatedly. In the meantime, behind the welcome cloak of anonymity, she pursued her natural proclivity in business and succeeded very well at both of her chosen careers. Nevertheless, individuals keep budding out into the public consciousness from all avenues of existence. Many otherwise normal citizens in countries all over the world have shown that they can literally see through their skin, through fingertips, elbows, and knees. Many mediums and sensitives throughout the world are personal agents for psychic surgeons, meaning they are the physical instruments for spiritual doctors who perform their subtle but effective operations on the etheric bodies of their patients. George Chapman is such a medium and is known throughout England and Europe. He has been healing for more than 50 years. Bernard Dutton, a skeptic, went to see George Chapman and after a miraculous healing wrote a widely published book telling all about this spirit doctor. George channels a discarnate spirit entity by the name of Dr. Lang, who has operated successfully on the etheric body of thousands of patients through George. I personally knew a young man living in Virginia Beach, Virginia, USA, who now lives a normal, active life after a psychic surgeon from one of the southern states in the USA conducted etheric surgery on his heart. Before this operation, the slightest effort would overtax his system and threaten to bring on a serious heart attack. Another acquaintance of mine revealed that he had been very skeptical but had gone to a psychic surgeon in Mexico as a last resort. His own doctors told him that they could not operate on a large tumor in his brain. He had suffered from a constant headache for years. The headache stopped a few minutes after etheric surgery started. And over this disbeliever before, now this same individual cannot find enough revelatory material to read concerning the science of magic. He discovered for himself that there is more to life than what eyes ordinarily see. This man is a very scientific-minded and in his pursuit of hidden knowledge is already well on his way toward becoming a conscious white magician. There are great numbers of fully conscious white and of black magicians in the world today. Shall we go on and explore the clear difference between these two very diametrically opposed artisans of the ancient and modern craft of magic? Just leave in the comment sections if that is something that you're interested in, further explorations in magic, both white and black. We don't want to leave anybody out or discriminate. Namaste, namaskaram.